Mm. Those of y'all that know why I'm like this. It made me so that one part in this episode, which I'm gonna elaborate on. You already know it's about Jayla. That made me so mad. Because if y'all been watching me for a while, y'all know I said the thing that the fans wanted to do was break her down, and I hate that it happened. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But thank y'all. I gotta thank y'all so much. We hit 7K subs. We hit it this weekend. Shout out to y'all. We are on the road to 10K. If you are new here and want to contribute to that, if you love what you're seeing, please hit the subscribe button. It is free of charge. It helps me out so much, as well as those thumbs up, liking the video, being in the comments down below. I don't have to tell y'all do it, and I'm appreciative times a million. I don't take y'all for granted. I'm extremely humbled by it. But yeah, we're going to get into this episode. This episode didn't have any fights, but I was entertained. I mean, there was a lot of good conversations that were going on. There was a lot of moments that we can talk about. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and get on into it because we got Jocelyn's coming up too. And then the Grammys, I'm going to try and watch that too later on if I can get this done. But I'm going to see y'all then. Bye. All right, so we get to where we left off with Rollie pressing Slim about the position. And she's pretty much going back and forth with Slim, saying that she'll slap the fuck out of her because she feels like she's trying to hoe her. But that's literally what you're doing to her. You're sitting there trying to hoe her. But Slim was piping back up at her, which I was glad she was. But Rolly's sitting there telling her to shut the fuck up. And Slim is saying, like, if that's the only way I can be here, which is to be the assistant, then I'll take the job. I said, that's embarrassing. Like, it's embarrassing. You can never get me to do that. No matter how much money. Like, if somebody's disrespecting me like that, you couldn't get me to do that. But Natalie, she ends up saying, like, you verbally agree, so we're going to move on. Natalie then moves to Diamond, and Diamond ends up letting the girls know how she got emotional and wanted to go home on the bus. And it's because her aunt is sick, and she said, like, I don't want to continue to be here because essentially, like, she's on borrowed time at this point. Like, it seems like her aunt is not going to be here that much longer. And I don't know. I don't follow Diamond on social media, so I don't know. But I hope her aunt is okay. But if she has passed on, sending my condolences. But that's sad. Nobody wants that to happen. But she gets emotional and says she wanted to go home because she didn't want to continue to be here. And if something was bad to happen to where she doesn't get the opportunity to say goodbye, she would have missed out on that. And Natalie goes over there and comforts her. She's crying. Biggie's crying because she hated seeing Diamond upset and didn't want her to leave. Everybody's hugging Diamond, giving her a lot of support. That was nice to see. Tink's talking about the bond that she had with Diamond that they grew throughout this season so far. We find out that she lost her uncle last season, so she kind of understands where she's coming from, but so she wants to support her. She tells her, do what you got to do and don't live life with regrets, and I agree with that, don't. But Diamond, she gets her outro. I'm excited and happy that we at least got to see 14 episodes of her. I knew she was going to leave halfway throughout the season because we all saw it whenever they were filming. But I wasn't expecting her to at least be here 14 episodes. So I'm happy that we at least got to see a little bit of her because Diamond is one of my favorites. But Natalie, she moves to the people that are not holding their weight. And of course, who is it? Emma. She says, you had Last City to prove yourself and step up, but you're boring. Basically, that's what she's saying. And Natalie says that baddies that are not outspoken isn't really a baddie. And I'm like, okay, I guess for this show. And that's why, like I say, when people tell me on the comments to get on like a Bad Boys or whatever, that's not me. First of all, I'm too grown. I'm about to be 30 in July. But even when I was younger, I never fought just for the sport. Like, I didn't want to do that just to be out here street fighting. But me personally, I don't see myself in that environment thriving. Something that I would thrive in is in a competition game show. Like, I'm an athlete. That's where I thrive. Yes, I can get entertaining when you give me something to work towards, but just off the cuff starting shit, that's not me. So, I mean, I can understand why Emma is boring. Because, I mean, to a certain degree, if that's who she is, that's who she is. I'm not a fan of her, as y'all know. But if that's who she is, and she hasn't, like, done too much to get on the camera, I can't be mad at her for that. I can't. Granted, she came on the show calling somebody else boring. But at least, if that's who she is, that's who she is. I respect her for at least not trying to do too much now after being called boring to stay on the show. And like I said, essentially, she's just not made for this show. This is really what it is. Emma is not made for baddies because she doesn't fit the criteria that makes you entertaining on this show. But Emma pretty much says, like, I understand. I'm going through some shit too. And says, I got to go figure that out at home anyway. So I thought she wasn't gonna get an outro, but she ended up getting one later on. But Natalie, she then says there's a few more girls that are up for elimination. This is where it starts to get interesting. She starts with Summer because of how reckless she's been. I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, because it's true though. And the three that she chose, I see the reasonings, and the reasonings that she gave, I see it being valid. Summer is because she's reckless. Yes, she stands on business. She is very vocal and is a focal point in this season for sure. But you're 28 years old out here damaging shit, damaging property, damaging buses and stuff that you don't pay for, pissing and stuff, pissing on shit. That type of stuff, I completely agree with Natalie. Yes, you can stand on business and you can be an entertaining part of the show, but if you're literally damaging shit that comes out of my pocket that I'm going to have to pay for, you're a liability. You got to get the fuck out of here. And I completely agree with her. Her putting her up for elimination, I understand that. And I hope she stands on that. Because, like, if Summer ended up continuing to do that type of shit, send her home. Send her home. But Summer's like, I'm not changing who I am for any of you bitches. I said, you ain't got to change who you are. But you got to change the fact that you are too reckless to be 28 years old out here acting like you 18. Like, damaging shit with no regard. Like, that's crazy. I wouldn't put up with that shit either. But Natalie says behind the scenes, she's been doing problematic shit. The next person she says is Jaidyn. And she's looking around. And I'm like, yeah, she ain't here. Like, she ain't here. Tasiki wasn't here either. I'm going to talk about Tasiki in a minute because I literally wrote some notes as me and my sister were watching it. And if y'all don't know, me and my sister watch it together. She kept making comments that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But she says Jaidyn, and she ain't even there. Like I said, Biggie, of course, is excited about it because she got that hard on for it. But Natalie ends up saying people come into this to be a baddie and thinking it's going to be one thing and then have all these other businesses and things that they have to attend. But she talking about herself, Natalie, also has businesses and things that she has to get involved with, but she also makes it a point to be here when she's here, which is true. Natalie was saying a lot of true stuff in this episode. It is true. And that's how I feel when it comes to the certain baddies that commit to the show but don't want to fully commit to the show. If you're going to commit to the show, you need to be there from start to finish. You need to be there every time that camera's on. You do. Tasiki ain't there all the time. So... And then it was the same thing with Suki a couple of years ago. It's just like, well, not a couple of years ago. It was literally last year. But a couple of seasons ago. But yeah, I mean, I agree with what she's saying there. But she says, Natalie also then says, apart from Jaidyn performing, don't nobody know nothing about her because she don't be talking. It's true. But Natalie then says Jela. That was the shock. That was the shock. I was shocked that she said it. Jela was shocked that she said it. A couple of them were shocked that she said it. And Natalie says she's been real quiet. Like, what are we doing? I do agree. Jela has been very, very quiet. And she hasn't been a part of it. So if you want to say X, Y, and Z is not contributing to the show, she fits the bill as well. Granted, she is a baddie. When I think of baddie, Jela is what it is. She is. But we'll get to that in a minute. But... Jela ends up saying, well, no, Anna was shocked, and Natalie ends up saying, like, even the OGs, which is true, too, because a lot of them are not contributing either. A lot of these girls, OGs and newbies, are not really contributing. But she ends up saying, even the OGs, Scotty, Anna, all of y'all, we all need to step up. And she said we, which I'm including her, too, need to step up, and we're essentially going to be bringing in replacements because, like, it ain't going to cut it. Biggie ends up saying, if you feel like we ain't doing enough, then do enough. And she said that in her confessional. She didn't say that to Natalie, but I wish she would have. You would have got a point from me, Biggie. But Natalie then talks about giving out a baddie chain. Now she want to give out a baddie chain. Natalie gives the chain to somebody that she feels has been stepping up and is a baddie, and the chain is going to who? Big Legs. Because she did her big one. I mean, I guess. I mean, I get it. I might not fully agree. I ain't going to say I don't fully agree. And that's the part that a lot of her fans don't understand with me. I ain't saying she don't deserve the chain, but in terms of what I deem a baddie, I wouldn't have given it to her first. But in terms of baddies on this show with the fighting and having a true purpose of being there, that you're contributing to, if you want to say so, absolutely. Because she has fought a lot. She has won a lot. And she has been a story. Granted, she could thank Ivori for that storyline, but she has a storyline. So, I mean, she got it. She got it. So good for her. She's excited about it. Obviously, she says it means so much to her, as we all know. But Anna ends up saying that at least you acting classy now because you was real trashy when the other guy, when the other chain got passed out. I was like, oh, she's saying it's to Lex. Lex said, what? And I was like, oh. And then Anna ends up saying, no, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your friend, a.k.a. Summer. Talking about Summer. I was laughing because I thought she was talking about Lex too. But Anna ends up saying what's corny is how these bitches is getting these chains popped out so quick. Now, as opposed to when we used to be doing it to get a chain, we had to really work for it and put in work for it. It is true. But Anna ends up saying, too, the more Natalie be passing these chains out, the less value it has. It never really had any value to begin with, if you asking me. But that's true, too. Like, you're not really doing anything to earn it. But, I mean, whatever. But Natalie, she ends up saying that a few of the others have been standing on business. Nunu will be staying with them, as she should. I love me some Nunu. But Anna ends up talking about saying thank you to Nunu. Talking about thank you. Say thank you for approving my arrival. Nunu said in her confessional, simmer down because you ain't ready to get your ass beat again. And I know she ain't. But we get a scene of the next day. Emma's packing her shit. Jasmine and Lex, they come in to say goodbye to her. She lets them know that her dad is having surgery that week. So the timing, it was written in the stars. I hope he's good. I don't follow her either. But I hope her dad is good. Hopefully everything went well with him. But they help her bring her shit out. Ivori comes out to hug her as well. So those three are the only three to say goodbye to her. The only three. But Emma does her outro talking about the difference between being boring. There's a difference between being boring and quiet. I said, that is true, but you are both. So there's no difference when it comes to you. But we get a scene of Rollie. She's in there with the new girls in Akbar, having this forced conversation about the first night in the cabin. But she then starts talking about the bus ride with Slim and Summer fighting and wants to know what happened. So Dolly says, I'm going to tell you what happened. And Dolly looked good in this scene too. Dolly looked good in the scene. But she says Slim came on the bus popping shit, as she should, because y'all was talking too much. Y'all was talking too crazy to her to begin with. So she should have. And she came on that bus checking shit as she should have. Granted, she don't know how to fight, but I'm glad she at least checked it. But Dolly said Summer was trying to be on some chill shit, but Slim was the aggressor. I said she was, but rightfully so. Because Slim wasn't even bothering Summer. The minute she got in there, Summer been on her head since she been on the show. So she asked for it. Slim just met her where she was at. But Akbar says it looked like Slim was getting bullied because everybody was ganging up on her. I said true. Exactly. But Akbar, I got some words for you in a minute because I was on her side with this, but then she switched up later on, but we'll get to it. But Slim comes in and she's looking the best that she's looked so far this season. She's bringing Rollie some tea, doing her job. But Summer gets in her confessional talking about how Slim is bringing snacks, drinks, and got these fucked up ass fits, and it's not going to cut it. I said, Summer, that's rich coming from you because y'all are literally on the same playing field when it comes to looks. Like, let's be for real. But Ivori, man, oh, Ivori. She's trying to make me like her. She really is. She is trying to make me like her because I'm floored. Because what she's doing right now, and I want to give her grace and say that she might be changing. I really want to give her grace and say that she might be changing. What we see of her right now, granted she came on the show. I don't even want to say, yeah, it was on some bully shit. She did. But throughout the experience, maybe she has grown up. I want to give her grace and say that she maybe has grown up. Because I'm really starting to like her. I can't take the piss part out of my mind. But this right here, I want to say that, and I hope that she has been growing. And I hope this is genuine. But she says, Slim is there to be Rollie's assistant. But at the end of the day, she shouldn't have to take getting talked to any kind of way. I said, talk about it. Talk about it. Akbar was agreeing and said, yeah, it gives a bully. And it does. But Rollie ends up saying there are some types. She kind of co-signs off of what they're saying there has to be some type of respect because she has to be able to work around y'all and she has to be the assistant. She has to be able to be around everybody. And she did say that she would possibly want to help everybody. I said that includes you too, Rollie, because you were the one that was disrespecting her. If they see you as her boss disrespecting her, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to do? Because you set the boundary. You set the example. But Ivori ends up saying, like, when you're assistant and you're working around people, you still have to be respected. Talk about it, Ivori. Talk about it. But Summer ends up saying that Slim had pressed her about having to run that again because she should, because you started pressing her. But Summer ends up saying that Slim, if she's sorry and saying that she's sorry, stand on that, not this cocky bullshit. And that's lame. I said, that's not lame. She's actually finally having some confidence within herself, which people that find people being confident an issue, it says a lot about you. But she popping her shit and finally moving with confidence, and I like that. It's not lame. But Ivori ends up saying, since everybody feels since she's your assistant, they can talk to her any type of way, and I don't like that. I said, you trying to make me like you. But she also then says, like, the other girls feel like they feel like she should be everybody's assistant, and she don't agree with that. Like, she's been here before all of us, pretty much saying, like, she was on Baddies South. She was on the season that made this show pop. Like, granted, she shouldn't even be an assistant. She should be able to be here by her own merit. I agree with Ivori. But Rollie ends up saying she has a choice and she can send both Summer and Slim home if she wanted to. Lies. That's why Natalie needs to stop giving this girl roles on the show where she feels like she's of superiority. Because you're not. Natalie essentially is the one that has that ability to do that. But truthfully, it's that gecko. He's the one that has the true power to see who comes and who goes. You don't have that, Rollie. She's trying to flex that and act like she does, but she don't. But she says there's no sympathy going around here. I said, oh, yep, you completely forgot what you just said 2 seconds ago. Because she's sitting there trying to act like Slim deserves respect, but then now she's saying that she don't. Because she said she went around 2 years ago talking about my child, thinking that was going to get to me, and I allowed it, and that's why she's here. And now that she feels like she's made it here, now she wants sympathy. And says that she said, I don't give a fuck. She's here to work. And then asks for her iPad, and the Slim gives it to her. I said, I'd have took that iPad and went, boom! Get the shit off the floor, pieces. But Slim, Rollie ends up continuing to talk shit about her and saying that she figured out since the auditions weren't working, she went online and said, okay, well, let me say fuck Rollie's son to get to her. Slim gets up. She's denying it. They're going back and forth at this point. Akbar gets in her confessional saying she's ready for Slim to go home and she can't feel bad for her anymore because she's doing too much. I said, but you was just sitting here saying that she was being bullied, but the minute Rollie started raising her voice, now you too scared to say that she a bully. Why don't you tell Rollie the truth about what she's doing? She's the one that's starting it. She's the big bully. She's the one that started all of these girls, Summer, tagging in on this. Like, wag. Like, Akbar, and I'm like, that's why I can't wait for Tommy to come. Can't wait for Tommy to come to send Akbar off the show. But Slim and Rollie, they're going back and forth. Slim gets to the point where she walks away and says, man, fuck this stupid position and fuck you too, bitch. I said, it's about time. I've been waiting for you to say that. But she says, like, I can't, she's saying this in her confessionals, I don't think I'm going to last being her assistant because she's not going to forgive me anyway, so fuck her in that position. You shouldn't want that position, period. Fuck her forgiving you. Fuck her, period. Fuck her in that position. If you can't be there for just being you, go home. Have some dignity. But they still going back and forth. Rollie ends up saying that she's going to get her own shit without an assistant like she has been doing. I say, you don't do nothing but run your mouth and eat. You don't need an assistant for that. Like, you don't. But we get Anna and Biggie. They're out back with the animals because they're on a ranch. That's where the house is. And the rest of the girls, they join them. And the rest of the girls I'm talking about is Paula, Jaidyn, Nunu, Tink, and Scotty. So they're out there. Paula's saying that she's trying to stay cool and keep it cute because apparently the smoke has died down with Tinkerbella because Tinkerbella just needed a moment. She didn't really want to fight you. Like, let's be for real. But Biggie starts talking about how the ghosts look like Akbar. They start talking about how they wish Diamond was there. And they start informing Jaidyn in on why Diamond's not there. But Tink takes it upon herself to tell Jaidyn that she's on the chopping block for going home. And Nunu ends up asking her, like, where were you at yesterday? And Biggie says, not being a baddie. Jaidyn said, I was checking in my hotel. Worry about yourself. And Anna ends up saying because Jaidyn doesn't know them like that and don't really speak to them like that, it looks like she's boring, but they actually have fun together. And I'm like, well, we don't get to see it though. It could be Jaden's fault, but then again, it could be Zeus's fault because they only film during certain points of the time. Like if they film 24 hours, we could see the fun that y'all are actually having. But Anna ends up saying like she can be more outspoken. Jaidyn said like I can respect that, but I don't know y'all. I'm just peeping the scene. It's the first time being around a bunch of y'all, like 20 different bitches at one time. I said I can relate to that because like I said before, me, when I'm in new environments, I'm not as open as I am right now. Like, I put people on 2-week trial periods. If I don't get natural energy off of you that makes me feel comfortable around you and feel like it's a safe space, then I don't really give you too much. I got to fill you out because you got to see certain people you don't open up to. Like, because certain people don't deserve it. But Jaidyn ends up trying to understand why she's boring because they all apparently be laughing at her jokes. But Anna ends up saying that everybody has an opinion and whether, I mean, if it comes to personal relationships, nobody else's opinions matter besides the people that are in those relationships. I'm like, I mean, to a certain degree, I mean, if you're asking somebody to look at the situation from an outside view and you're asking for that opinion, I guess. But I mean, I guess. But Nunu ends up saying that's where I beg to differ because I'm coming in to see and get to know y'all. And Anna says, but you don't know our friendship. Nunu says, okay, but that's true. But you can then tell me, okay, well, then you don't know our friendship. That's just what it is. Biggie ends up saying that Nunu came off aggressive. I'm like, no. Yes, she butted in and had her own opinion, but aggressive, no. But Nunu ends up saying in her confessionals, I can't get over the fact that Biggie decided that she wanted to sneak me, but she can't even fight for herself. I said, clock it. I'm gonna say it every single time she says it. And pretty much said, like, it's still smoke with Biggie. Anna, she don't really care about. Pretty much saying, like, she can go on about her business because I already done beat her ass, knotted her up. There's no point in me continuing to fight. But Anna ends up talking to Nunu, but she's not even looking at Nunu. She's talking, but she's, like, looking this way. Nunu over here, but she's looking this way. But she says essentially, like, we can have our conversation. It don't have to be in front of everybody because it went further than the Mariah Lynn situation. Nunu agreed to do it. Anna ends up saying in her confessionals that she wanted to squash it with Nunu, but she'll never fuck with Nunu in real life because she does too much to be seen and said a little too much about her to forgive her easily. I said, you're the same girl that got online talking about her deceased mother. And if I remember correctly, something along the lines of spitting on her grave. That right there is why I'm off the Anna train. Like, there's certain levels that you do not go. And then you talked about her son too. Like, Anna got a mouth that is too reckless. But Biggie ends up telling Nunu that she claims that she feels disrespected. You the one that disrespected her. You the one that snuck her first. Like, come on. But thank God Anna stepped in and pretty much cut her off because, like, don't nobody care. All right, the scene. Natalie and Jela, they're sitting on the deck. And this was one of the realest scenes, genuine scenes that Zeus is actually on Baddies has put out here. Because you could tell it was a genuine conversation. Natalie says that they need to have a conversation. Jayla sits down and says she feels like she shouldn't be up because as an OG, she felt like the new girls need their shine. She's pretty much solidified herself already on this show, which she has. Jayla has Caribbean South. She's been a focal point. What more does she really need to do? Which is why I say she need to get off the show. But she said that, and Jayla says, like, I feel like I deserve more respect. I'm a beautiful woman, and I am a bad bitch at the same time. True. Facts. She is a baddie. You look at a baddie, that is a baddie. But Natalie ends up saying, like, fans spend $150 to get in the clubs to see us. When we're all together on the road, it's like a reflection of all of us together. And post-show, y'all get all these bookings and stuff. And she's wondering if Jayla could even host a booking. I said, she's been getting bookings. Like, why are you acting like you don't know? Like, y'all have been like this for years prior to Baddies. But Natalie ends up saying, too, Jayla is letting the new baddies outshine her and ask her what's going on. And Jayla starts to get emotional. And this made me sad. Take the fact that I like Jayla out of it. But you can tell the situation, it goes beyond what I'm about to say. Let me just say it. Jayla says that she knew people didn't want her to be there. And it makes it hard for her to show up and put her best foot forward. And she feels like the fans hate her and don't have a real reason to hate her. It's the truth. It is. Now, when she said that, I was like, ugh. Because those of y'all that watch me, I've said it before numerous times. A lot of the fans that genuinely don't have a reason to like her, granted, you could not like anybody. I'll say that. People that don't like Jayla, you have a right to not like her, and you can like her off of nothing, just like people like me and don't like me off of nothing. Shout out to whoever sent it to me. I'm about to say it right here. Movie Bay and Legend know because they already saw it. But shout out to the person. You know who you are. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to say who sent it to me, but thank you for sending that to me. Somebody sent me a Reddit link of like maybe 12 days ago. Somebody put a video of one of the other content creators and was talking about me in Movie Bay and Legend, but really speaking about me for like a whole essay about how much I defend Jayla. It might be being biased, yada, yada, yada. I don't care. Stuff like that don't bother me. But it was funny to me. And they was talking about Movie Bay and Legend saying they were insufferable and everything because we don't like Lex and we do too much on Lex. Like, who cares? It's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. I don't care for Lex, but I would never disrespect Lex in person. That's just not the type of person I am. I'm just giving my opinion on a show that I'm watching. But if you don't like me for it, you don't have to like me. That's cool. But I found it funny because they left an essay. They've been watching for a while. I wish I knew who it was, though. But the whole gist of me saying that, I personally, when I put myself on here, and that's the thing when you're a public figure or you put yourself out here to where people can see what you're doing and leave comments, it makes yourself vulnerable. When you do that, you have to have a level of thick skin to where certain things shouldn't bother you. Granted, people say certain things in these comments, especially last season, that I just blocked. And sometimes I get down there and talk because sometimes I do want to talk. Sometimes I do want to say something because sometimes I feel like saying something because you sound stupid. Whenever I do comment on things that are not favorable, I do it to challenge what you're saying and then let you know that you sound stupid. But if you on that stupid, I can tell that you're on that trolling type shit, I just block you and keep it moving. I don't care. Like, it's not going to move anything about me. I'm 29 years old. I could care less about what anybody thinks about me. But enough of me talking about me. Jela, the fans hating her. We all know, like I said, apart from the ones that don't like her, apart from everything that happened last season, those, okay, whatever. But you can tell where it's really bothering her is the fact that a lot of her own community, when I say community, the black community, there's a lot of black women and a lot of black men. I said it last season because they were in my comments too. Talking crazy, cooning out. And that's another reason why they didn't like me either, because I don't stand for that coon shit. Anybody black that allows anybody that's outside of black to say nigga around them, you're cut off. I don't care what you do. I don't like you. Period. And that's what she came on the show doing, as she did 10 years ago. So for her to get all of this hate because of her defending her culture, that does hurt. And that made me want to stop doing this show. Y'all remember last season when I said I was not going to do this show anymore? Because that was too much for me. It was too much for me in my comments. It was too much to see on social media. Seeing so many black people sell out, defending a white woman, but sitting here literally bashing a black woman. People saying that they want her to get beat up. They want her pretty face to get fucked up. All because she was literally telling a white girl who was telling her in her face that she don't give a fuck that she has an issue with her saying nigga as a white woman. So that, and it hurt. It broke me. It didn't break me, but it made me feel so bad that she felt that way, because she should never feel that way because she did nothing wrong. People want to say she's bullying her. No, she wasn't. Bullying her would have been going out of her way to do it. Jela beat her ass every time she said the N-word around her. Apart from that, she was not bothering that girl. She was not. So for her to then get the fan hate and says, like, I feel like they just don't have a reason to not like me, which is the truth in that instant, because what she's talking about is the people that I just described. But like I said, that's what they wanted, was to break her confidence down. You can tell that's why she's been quiet. As this scene passed and the rest of the episode, I was looking at her a little bit more intently. You can tell she's holding back a little bit. I hate that, because she's always been super confident. Always been super confident. And that's the one thing I didn't want to see happen, is see them try and break her confidence and see them succeed with it. And it looks like they did a little bit. And I hate that for her. And I hope she don't continue to look at that stuff and take it to heart, because let them coons sell out. Let them be sellouts. But Natalie ends up asking her if she's reading the comments, and she says, yeah, sometimes, because I do want to see what they're saying sometimes. I understand that, but don't let the hate get to you. But Natalie ends up saying some real shit. Who cares? Like, they be saying big chin, bitch, bad skin, this, bad. I said, it's a fact, because Natalie they've been saying this about Natalie since she's been on TV. But one thing about Natalie that is consistent, she do not care what people say about her. And that's why she's as successful as she is. She'll make fun of it herself about her chin. That's how you do it. You always, when you know somebody's going to make fun of something, you just take ownership of it, make light of it yourself, and keep it moving, because they no longer have that power over you. But Natalie ends up asking, like, what she feels about the club tonight. Apparently there's a boxing ring in the middle of the club. Legend, I believe Legend, this is where Legend was. Y'all know Legend went to one of the events when they were filming. I think Legend was there. Legend gonna let me know in the comments if he was at this one. But Natalie ends up pretty much asking Jela, essentially, do you want to fight for your spot? And she seemed like she was down for it. But this is where I want to talk about Tasiki, because my sister had asked 3 times. So we were 30 minutes into the episode. Where's Tasiki at? I said she's the one that should have been up for elimination, because she don't contribute to nothing. If she ain't fighting, she's not on TV. She's boring. But Natalie ends up letting her know that they're going to a corn maze before they go to the club. But the next scene is the rest of the girls getting on their sprinters. Dolly's on the bus asking where Emma is. They like, she gone. And Summer's happy about it. Paula ends up saying she didn't even get to say goodbye to her. And she hated it because she likes her. But the OGs, they're on the Sprinter talking about the Slim and Rollie situation. Who cares? Summer ends up asking the girls on her bus who they think is going home between her, Jaidyn, and Jela. And Dolly pretty much says, like, ain't nobody going home. That was some TV shit. Fact. You peeped it, Dolly. Dolly, you can tell she did TV because she peeped it. That's what that was. Natalie ain't sitting on the phone. But Summer ends up asking Jasmine and Paula who they want to go home out of the three. And Jasmine said, of course, you. Like, and that's why I respect Jasmine and that's why I respect Paula, because both of them going to tell the truth. But Jasmine ends up saying in her confessionals, not Jela being on the chopping block with a bitch like Summer. I said exactly, like, baddie, aesthetic, it don't even make sense. But in this show's instance, I guess. But Ivori, she's on the bus with the OGs, and I didn't even realize that. She on the bus with them while the rest of the new girls, it was funny to me. But Nunu, she's talking about how she's there to pop her shit, yada, yada. Anna ends up asking who they think Natalie is going to bring in for replacements. And I'm like, Tommy. And I hope the episode is not next week, because that's Super Bowl Sunday, and that's going to be late. I'm just telling y'all that now. But, my sister was asking where Tasiki was again. But they arrive to the corn maze. All the girls get together. Natalie and Jela, they arrive last. And Natalie's ends up telling them, like, whoever finishes the corn maze first will get $5,000. I'm like, you could have added a zero to it, $50K, since you're such a big boss. But Nunu says, where the money's at, I'm be there. So they begin. Ivori was cracking me up. She was sprinting through there. Scotty was running through there with their dog. Said, Natalie is not giving nobody no money. I said, exactly. But Jela, she apparently finished first. I wouldn't be shocked because Jela is very intelligent. But Rollie's talking about she won. I said the one that can barely walk. Running through a maze first, please. But Anna, Biggie, Jela, and Rollie, they sitting there play fighting about who won. And Natalie ends up letting the girls know when they finish that they're going on a hayride. So they head on over. Anna's sitting there talking about, Summer, this is your last hayride. Talking about pretty much saying like you about to go home. But they head on over. They're in there now. They do a baddie shot o'clock, and Natalie starts asking everybody, since we've been around each other, y'all haven't, the new girls have been around each other, but since we've been around each other for a while, who are y'all the closest to? Lex says Tinkerbella, obviously because they've been around each other, because Tinkerbella is the only returner OG that has been around the new girls pretty much the whole time because she's been living with them. And Paula likes Anna. Summer ends up saying to Jela, we know you ain't got close to nobody. Jayla ends up saying, I can tell you ain't. She said their baby hair is ugly as fuck. And Summer then repeats and then says, they look like what you got on your head. They both was cracking me up because they both was just going in on each other. And it was funny. Everybody on there was laughing too. But Anna ends up saying Summer always got something to say. She do, but you do too. But Jayla and Summer, they're going back and forth. And Summer ends up saying that she felt like Jayla got a broomstick up her ass. Why? Because she holds herself to a higher standard than you. I guess. But, and it's funny because it's like Jayla and Jasmine are very much alike. They're very much alike in the way they carry themselves. And Summer always has an issue with those type of girls, apparently. But Jayla says she don't give a fuck. She said, Jayla started, she started reading her. She said, you a weird ass, tacky ass bitch with no class, no couth, with a crunchy ass wig, some ugly ass cheap ass clothes, and some busted ass motherfucking Uggs. I said Jayla been holding that in because she said it with no stuttering. You could tell she been waiting to say it. Just waiting. But Summer ends up saying baddies don't need class. We're bad bitches. That says everything you need to know about Summer. Baddies don't need class? Moving on. But Jayla said what I've been waiting for. This was the final part. I don't give one motherfucking fuck. What the fuck you saying, bitch? I've been waiting on her to say that. But they showed a sneak peek for next week. We got Jayla and Summer still going at it on the hayride. That black confessional, and when I say black, the black fit that Natalie had on with the red hair, best she's ever looked. Natalie looked good. But Summer and Jayla, they getting into it in the ring. Biggie and Natalie going at it at the club. Natalie told her she gonna get her fat ass beat. Next week looks interesting. It looks interesting. But y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Thumbs up the video if you haven't already. We are on the road to 10K. Subscribe if you are new. Comment down below. I'll see y'all in a couple hours for Jocelyn's because I'm about to go watch that. so I can watch the Grammys. But then I'll see y'all tomorrow with Movie Bay and Legend on live. But I'll see y'all then. Peace.